They're not trying to hurt you. They're just trying to get it their way because their way is the only way that they know how to do it. Just want to chat about this concept of nice guys finishing last, because I actually think that there's some truth to this. Now, I don't want to completely say that guys who are nice finish last. That's not the concept here. But what is very important is to know that guys who continuously let things slide do finish last. And that's ultimately it. I think that the saying has been a little bit misconstrued over the years, but essentially it's if you don't hold your ground and stand firm to your values and challenge those things that are actually impacting your business and your life in a negative way, then worse things are going to happen. This happens, again, very often in men's lives. This happens. I see a lot of guys who are trying to play the nice guy in their relationship, in their marriage, and their wives walk all over them. I see a lot of guys trying to play the nice guy with their kids, and their kids take advantage of them. And remember that one of the most important, you can say, elements of being a father is to teach your children, is to be a great role model for your children. And now if you allow your children to walk all over you, then what are you teaching them? You're going to teach them that it's okay for other people to walk all over them when they grow older. And if you allow your spouse, your wife, to walk all over you, then you are teaching your children, both your sons and your daughters, that for your sons, it's okay to be walked on. And for your daughters, it's okay to walk on other people. And that's not okay at all. Nobody, whether you're a man or woman, should put up with something that is going against their values in a negative way. Now, there's a way of addressing that, and you need to do that in a very mindful way. And that's why I talk about being the mindful alpha male, right? Being an alpha male is about taking control. It's about creating your own destiny, but you also have to be mindful. And someone shared this quote with me that I think had a profound impact in terms of how I dealt with these types of situations, because I tried to be the nice guy throughout my life and it didn't always work. In fact, I got stepped on in a number of ways. I got stepped on from a relationship standpoint. I got stepped on from a business standpoint. So it's important to be these two particular things. And the first one is kind, right? Kind, but also firm. And I think that's the motto that I've used. And it's worked out very well for me because I can be firm and I can present it in a very kind way where someone doesn't take it offensively. And that's what you need to learn as well, is to really draw the line and say that you shouldn't have to put up with this. It's not in your best interest. And sometimes it's not even in that person's best interest, but that's all they know. And so you have to draw this line and say, please don't cross this line. Excuse me. If you do, then we're going to have a further conversation. And sometimes there might even be a consequence as a result of that. This is very important for you because if you're trying to scale your business, you're trying to scale your career, you're trying to be successful in all aspects of your life, you will come across people who try to consciously take advantage of you, but some people just aren't conscious to it. That's just all they know. They're not fully aware of it. And there's a lot of people in society like that. They're not trying to hurt you. They're just trying to get it their way because their way is the only way that they know how to do it. In a lot of cases, it is a way of defending themselves. It's a way of facing fear. It's a way of dealing with their own internal anger. And sometimes they just don't do it in the right way. So if you, again, are trying to have success in some area of your life, let's just take a look at your business. And one of the most common situations that we see is that a business owner or a CEO will have one or a few key people on their executive team that kind of push the boundaries with them. Now, pushing the boundaries, I'm not talking about strategies or business tactics. I'm just talking about from a personal perspective that they push their boundaries. Sometimes they may not hold themselves accountable to the things that they should be held accountable. Sometimes they behave in a way where or when it's not appropriate to behave that way. And you as a CEO have to address that. And sometimes CEOs are challenged because if they feel that if they do address it, that person is going to take it offensively and possibly even leave. So that is one of the key factors as to why men don't address challenges and try to play the nice guy. Is yes, you don't want to hurt the other person's feelings. That's one of them. But secondly, it's also because there may be some internal fear within yourself where you are fearing the consequences as a result of bringing this up. What is this going to do? Is this person, whether it's an employee, person on your team, or whether it's a spouse, or maybe if you have older kids, is that person going to leave you? Are they going to leave you and maybe find another job, maybe find another spouse, maybe find some other thing to keep themselves busy, and it's not you? So therefore, you're not going to get the attention, the love, the respect, the status that you want. We really have to be clear with ourselves here why we are not firm with our boundaries. It is very, very important because us as men, we need to be firm with our boundaries because these loose boundaries are causing more harm than good. They cause more challenges in your business than actually good. Letting things slide allows the challenge or the problem to get even bigger, become more consistent, more frequent. And I'm sure you've seen this in your life over and over again. I experienced this with my kids, is if you let things slide a little bit, they continue to let things slide from a perspective of that old saying, when you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. So they continue. They know that there's a crack, right? They know that data has a crack in them, and that if they can find that crack, they can make it bigger and bigger. So it's easier to stand your ground in an understanding, in a compassionate, in a kind way, but also in a firm way. Why is this so important? Why am I talking about this? Because I have experienced this throughout my life, and I've experienced the challenges that it's posed. I work with men on a daily basis who struggle with this, who struggle with being kind yet firm in people in their lives and in their businesses that are creating negative situations and circumstances that are not good for these men and that are not good for themselves sometimes and other people. You have to understand also that if you don't address this, most likely these people will be doing it with other people in their social circle or in their own lives or in your business if they're an employee. You are not the only one that is taking this. So you need to stand up because you could also be helping somebody else as well. And there's a really interesting thing that happens when we work with teams and CEOs when it comes to addressing people's behavior challenges or attitude challenges. And that person just doesn't want to shift or they just don't want to change. And ultimately, that person has to be let go. One of the first things that happens is that other people are relieved. They actually come up to the CEOs and say, thank you for doing that, because that person was causing issues in my work. I was taking the stress home and it was impacting my family. I really appreciate you doing that. So if you have a person that's causing challenges, chances are they're actually causing challenges for other people as well. So you need to nip it in the butt sooner than later. So just to recap here, I just want to summarize that being the nice guy doesn't always work, but that doesn't mean you need to be rude, that you need to have anger, that you need to be abusive. By no means does it mean that. If you take this item or motto and apply it, you're going to be a lot better in life. And that is simply be kind, but also firm. Take care.